people freely walking across our borders, fighting age men, coming into our country, and this is the result of Joe Biden's open border.
Phoenix, Arizona, March 12, 2024, 4:47 a.m. Federal agents approach the Southwest Distribution Center on Industrial Boulevard, unremarkable from the outside, corrugated steel, loading docks, semi-trucks lined in perfect rows, the kind of facility you pass on the highway without a second glance. They breach the main warehouse at 4:52 a.m. What they find inside transforms a routine drug bust into the largest cocaine seizure in Arizona history. 3.8 tons, packaged in commercial shipping containers, labeled as agricultural equipment, hidden behind legitimate inventory, stacked floor to ceiling in a climate-controlled storage room that doesn't appear on the building's official floor plan. Street value, $600 million. But here's what makes this different. This isn't a cartel stash house. This is a Fortune 500 distribution network operating in plain sight. For 7 years, the man behind the operation, Michael Thornton, presented himself as a logistics innovator. Arizona Business Journal named him Entrepreneur of the Year in 2022. His company, Apex Freight Solutions, handled shipments for major retailers across the Southwest. Annual revenue exceeded $240 million, 500 employees, government contracts, Chamber of Commerce board member. Federal prosecutors would later describe him as one of the most sophisticated drug traffickers in American history. The investigation began 14 months earlier, not through dramatic detective work, through accident, a shipping manifest discrepancy flagged by a junior analyst at Customs and Border Protection reviewing routine cross-border freight documentation. Container 447-B listed contents as irrigation components. Weight declared 2,400 pounds. Actual weight recorded at the Nogales port of entry, 2,850 pounds. 450 pounds unaccounted for. That single discrepancy opened a door into an operation spanning 3 states, involving corrupt officials at multiple agencies and processing an estimated $2.3 billion in cocaine over 7 years. The investigation unfolds. DEA Special Agent Jennifer Martinez assembled a task force in January 2023. 6 agencies, 42 investigators. Complete operational security. No local law enforcement involvement. Too much risk of leaks. They started with surveillance. Basic stuff. Tracking vehicles. Monitoring warehouse activity. Logging employee movements. Nothing unusual appeared at first. Apex operated like any legitimate freight company. Trucks arrived, trucks departed, shipments processed, paperwork filed. The pattern emerged in the data. Specific containers arriving from Mexico consistently weighed more than manifests indicated. Always subtle, never more than 500 pounds variance. Easily dismissed as measurement error, except it happened with predictable regularity. Every third shipment from a particular border crossing, every Tuesday and Friday. Martinez obtained wiretap authorization in April 2023. Phone records revealed coded language. Agricultural equipment meant cocaine. Quality control issues signaled law enforcement presence. Delayed shipment indicated route changes to avoid detection. The communications led investigators to Thornton's inner circle, his operations manager, David Chen, his logistics coordinator, Sarah Williams, his transportation director, Marcus Rivera, all aware, all complicit, all receiving payments far exceeding their official salaries. Bank records told the rest of the story. Shell companies in Delaware, offshore accounts in the Cayman Islands, real estate purchases under family members' names. Chen bought a $2.8 million home in Scottsdale. Cash. Williams drove a Bentley. Rivera owned a yacht in San Diego. And Thornton? 6 properties across 3 states. Private jet. Art collection valued at $14 million. Country club memberships. Political donations totaling $380,000 over 3 years. All funded by cocaine. The operational structure Apex Freight Solutions operated as a hybrid model. Legitimate business on the surface. Criminal enterprise underneath. The genius was integration. Most employees had no idea what they were transporting. The criminal operation occupied maybe 15% of total company activity, hidden within normal operations. Here's how it worked. Cocaine entered the United States through Nogales, Arizona, packaged inside legitimate freight containers, mixed with actual agricultural equipment from Mexican suppliers. Border agents inspected containers, found irrigation components, waved them through. The containers reached Apex warehouses in Phoenix. Specific employees, the inner circle, diverted marked containers to the hidden storage room, extracted cocaine, resealed containers with original contents, processed the shipments as normal business. The cocaine then moved through a secondary distribution network. smaller vehicles, rental trucks, personal cars driven by paid couriers. Destinations included Los Angeles, Las Vegas, Denver, and Albuquerque. Each delivery averaged 50 to 100 pounds. Frequent small shipments attracted less attention than occasional large loads. Payment came back through the same channels. Cash deposited into shell company accounts. Laundered through Apex's legitimate business operations, reported as consulting fees, equipment sales, and logistics services. The company's CFO, Patricia Gomez, created false invoicing to justify the money flows. She wasn't just keeping books. She was the architect of the entire financial cover. Federal investigators eventually identified 23 individuals with direct knowledge of the operation: warehouse workers who helped move product, drivers who transported shipments, border officials who expedited container clearances. A customs inspector in Nogales received $15,000 monthly to flag specific containers for priority processing, meaning minimal inspection. The corruption extended to local law enforcement. A Phoenix Police Department detective provided advance warning of drug enforcement operations. He received $8,000 per tip. Over 18 months, he compromised 6 separate investigations. Those failed raids? Not bad luck. Betrayal. The evidence mounts. By December 2023, investigators possessed overwhelming documentation: wiretap recordings, bank records, surveillance footage, reverse shipping manifests, border crossing logs, text messages, email correspondence, financial transactions totaling $127 million in suspicious payments. They mapped the entire network: suppliers in Sinaloa, transportation routes through Sonora, border crossing points, Phoenix distribution center, secondary warehouses in Tucson and Yuma, delivery routes to major cities, customer networks across the Southwest. The DEA coordinated with Mexican authorities, identified cartel connections. The Sinaloa organization supplied the cocaine. Thornton's operation handled United States distribution. The partnership proved mutually beneficial. The cartel gained access to sophisticated logistics infrastructure. Thornton received product at wholesale prices and maintained distribution monopoly in the Southwest corridor. Financial analysis revealed the operation's profitability. Cocaine purchased in Mexico for approximately $20,000 per kilogram, sold in United States markets for $80,000 to $100,000 per kilogram. With 3.8 tons seized, 3,800 kilograms, the warehouse represented a single shipment's inventory. Investigators estimated Apex processed similar quantities monthly. Do the math. 3,800 kilograms times 12 months equals 45,600 kilograms annually. At wholesale prices of $80,000 per kilogram, that's $3.6 billion in annual product value moving through the operation. Even accounting for operational costs, bribes, transportation, and personnel, the profit margins remained astronomical. Thornton personally cleared an estimated $40 million annually. His inner circle divided another $15 million. The corrupt officials received their cuts. Everyone profited from the poison pipeline. The takedown coordination required precision: 23 targets across 4 states. Simultaneous arrests to prevent flight or evidence destruction. Federal agencies synchronized operations down to the minute. March 12, 2024, 4:47 a.m. But Phoenix warehouse raid. Agents secured 3.8 tons of cocaine, arrested 6 warehouse workers, seized financial records, impounded vehicles, locked down the facility. 4:51 a.m. Tucson. Federal agents arrest David Chen at his residence. He's in pajamas, surrounded by evidence of affluence purchased through drug profits. 4:53 a.m. Scottsdale. Sarah Williams taken into custody. Agents execute search warrant. Find $480,000 cash in a bedroom safe. Jewelry, designer handbags, evidence of luxury funded by cocaine distribution. 4:55 a.m. San Diego. Marcus Rivera arrested on his yacht. Agents seize the vessel. Discover hidden compartments previously used for transporting cash proceeds. 5:02 a.m. Phoenix. Michael Thornton arrested at his Paradise Valley estate. 8-bedroom mansion, infinity pool. An art collection visible through floor-to-ceiling windows. The life he built on criminal enterprise crumbles in minutes. By 6 a.m., all 23 targets are in custody. No one escaped. No evidence destroyed. The operation executed flawlessly. DEA Administrator Ann Milgram holds a press conference that afternoon. She stands behind a table displaying seized cocaine bricks. The visual impact is devastating. This represents the largest cocaine seizure in Arizona history, she states. But more importantly, it represents the dismantling of a criminal enterprise that corrupted American institutions, endangered communities, and betrayed public trust. The evidence presentation continues for hours. Agents display financial records, border crossing documentation, communication intercepts. The case builds itself. Prosecutors describe it as the most thoroughly documented drug trafficking operation in DEA history. The legal aftermath federal charges follow rapidly. Michael Thornton faces 43 counts: drug trafficking, money laundering, bribery, conspiracy, wire fraud. Each carries maximum sentences. If convicted on all counts, he faces life imprisonment without possibility of parole. His inner circle receives similar charges: Chen, Williams, Rivera, Gomez, all facing decades in federal prison. The warehouse workers get lesser charges, 5 to 10 years likely. The corrupt officials face their own legal battles. The customs inspector charged with bribery and conspiracy. The police detective with obstruction of justice and corruption. Thornton's attorney attempts damage control. My client maintains his innocence. These charges represent government overreach and misinterpretation of legitimate business operations. The evidence contradicts him at every turn. Trial begins November 2024. Prosecution presents 847 pieces of evidence. Wiretap recordings where Thornton discusses cocaine shipments explicitly. Financial records tracing drug proceeds through shell companies. Testimony from cooperating witnesses. Text messages planning distribution routes. The defense offers no credible counter-narrative. How do you explain 3.8 tons of cocaine in your warehouse? The hidden storage room? The coded communications? The offshore accounts? The jury deliberates for 6 hours, guilty on all counts. Sentencing occurs January 2025. Federal Judge Patricia Martinez delivers the verdict. You corrupted institutions designed to protect American citizens. You enriched yourself through poison that destroyed lives and communities. You betrayed every value of legitimate business and civic responsibility. Life imprisonment. No parole eligibility. Asset forfeiture of all property purchased with drug proceeds. Total value, $67 million. Chen receives 30 years, Williams 25. Rivera 28. Gomez 32 years for her role in financial operations. The corrupt customs inspector gets 15 years. The police detective receives 12 years and loses his pension. The Apex case raises uncomfortable questions about institutional vulnerability. How does a major drug trafficking operation hide inside a Fortune 500 company for 7 years? How do corrupt officials compromise border security and law enforcement? Kastakapuam, how does $2.3 billion in cocaine move through American cities without detection? The answers suggest systemic failures, insufficient oversight of freight operations, inadequate screening of cross-border shipments, limited resources for investigating financial crimes, vulnerability to corruption at every level. Congressional hearings follow the convictions. Legislators demand explanations. Border security receives increased funding. New protocols for freight inspection. Enhanced financial monitoring. Stricter background checks for customs officials. But enforcement depends on implementation. Budgets get allocated. Protocols get written. Whether they prevent the next Apex remains uncertain. The Apex Freight Solutions case demonstrates a disturbing evolution in drug trafficking. Criminal organizations no longer operate only in shadows. They infiltrate legitimate business. They corrupt institutions. They hide in plain sight behind Chamber of Commerce awards and political donations. Michael Thornton looked like a successful entrepreneur. He presented as a pillar of the business community. He built a logistics empire that served major corporations. And underneath it all, he ran one of the largest cocaine distribution networks in American history. That's the real danger, not the obvious criminals. The hidden ones. The ones who smile at charity dinners while poisoning communities. The ones who shake hands with politicians while bribing border agents. The ones who win business awards while processing tons of cocaine. 3.8 tons seized. $600 million in street value. 23 arrests. Multiple life sentences. But how many other operations continue undetected? How many other logistics companies hide criminal enterprises? How many other corrupt officials enable drug trafficking? The Apex case provides answers. And raises more questions. About trust. About corruption. About the price of looking the other way. About how evil wears a suit and carries a business card. The warehouse on Industrial Boulevard sits empty now, seized by federal authorities. Evidence of what happened inside preserved for trial. A monument to betrayal and greed. A reminder that the most dangerous criminals don't always look like criminals. They look like us. Until you look closer. Until the evidence reveals the truth. Until 3.8 tons of cocaine explain everything you thought you knew about success and legitimacy and trust. The investigation continues. Were other networks, other corrupt officials, Other warehouses hiding similar secrets, because Apex wasn't unique, just uniquely exposed. The pipeline continues, different names, different locations, same poison, same profits, same corruption. That's what keeps federal agents working through the night. That's what makes every shipping manifest worth examining. That's what transforms routine border crossings into potential crime scenes. Because somewhere, right now, another truck crosses into Arizona. Another container gets waved through. Another warehouse stores product disguised as legitimate freight. And somewhere, someone profits from the poison while maintaining the appearance of respectability. Until the evidence catches up. Until the investigation exposes truth. Until the raids come at 4:47 a.m. and the empire crumbles. Not justice delivered, but the warning remains. Look closer. Question appearances. Trust nothing at face value. Because the next Apex Freight Solutions could be operating right now, in your city, behind a corporate logo, hidden in plain sight. The price of complacency is measured in lives destroyed and communities poisoned. The cost of corruption calculated in tons of cocaine and billions of dollars. The toll of betrayal counted in every person who trusted institutions that failed them. That's the lesson of the Arizona pipeline. That's the legacy of Michael Thornton and Apex Freight Solutions. That's what 3.8 tons of cocaine and $600 million seized really represents. Not just a bust, a warning. Stay vigilant. Question everything. Because the real criminals don't wear masks. They wear suits. And they're counting on you looking the other way.